Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Miss Crocheting Coffee here. And today we're doing our whipping checks. So get out whatever it is you're working on. Work along with me. I am working on my granny square blanket. And it's been a couple of days, y'all. Like, y'all know the moving process is not fun. We were currently still in the moving. Sorry, I gotta remind myself to look over here and not over there. So we were currently still in the moving process until yesterday. So yesterday we decided that we were going to get up and get dressed and go over to the old house and clean out the garage because it was the last thing that needed to happen before I could clean the apartment, which at this point I'm half tempted just to pay somebody to clean the apartment because at this point I don't want to go back in there. So excuse me. So we decided to go clean out the apartment. Mr. Coffee is on days off, which I don't understand, but we'll get into that probably later in the video. So I was like, let's go clean out the garage so that we can have it done. Mostly because I wanted to be able to put nails back on. I can't put nails on if I have to lift heavy things, and I don't want to break or scuff my nails. So I'm like, can we go over to the other house and clean out the garage, please? I would like to feel like a girl again. So he was like, yeah, sure, I guess. So we go over yesterday. We spent about 4 or 5 hours cleaning out the garage, a couple more hours cleaning out the trash out of the house, going around picking up all the big trash and getting all the big trash bags out of there. So tomorrow, because I'm taking a break today, my body needs it, y'all. My back hurts, my legs hurt, my knees scream every time I go up the stairs. And I'm like, oh, good God. I'm not built for this. I'm still not built for this. It's been a week that we've lived here now. And I'm still not, well, technically, oh, it's been almost a week. No, it's been over a week. We've been here for over a week now. It's almost 2 weeks. And the stairs are getting no easier. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, I'm huffing and puffing as I'm going up the stairs. I'm out of shape, y'all. It's a thing. Like, I'm not like, you know, I don't see it like, you know, it's a horrible thing that I need to worry about right now. But I'm like, dude, round is a shape, but not one that's good for stairs. Okay, like God, no. So yeah. So we go to get up yesterday morning, and I'm like, oh, I'm ready. I'm gonna go get this garage cleaned out. There's not a lot of stuff in here. Again, the lies we tell ourselves. Look, listen. There was so much of my stuff in the garage. I didn't even realize I had that much stuff in the garage. And I'm like, what the hell? But anyways, so before we get into the garage stories, so I go to get up and I go get my shower and I'm like, oh, I'm feeling fresh and so clean, yes. I get out of the shower. Now, I have a big hair bonnet that I put on for when I'm in the shower and stuff because, you know, you can get the braids wet, but there's, yeah, no, you just, anyways. So I had my hair bonnet on and I call myself being cute and I go to pull my hair bonnet off and we don't, the ceilings downstairs are higher ceilings, like, I think they're called vaulted ceilings maybe, but the ceilings upstairs aren't. Now remember, me and Mr. Coffee are both 6'1", so if I just raise my hand and touch the ceiling, I can touch the ceiling. And we have ceiling fans. Now, my braids are 32 inches long. I did not intend for them to be this long, but that's how they came, okay? So I was like, crap. So as I go to pull my hair bonnet off, I shake my head because it, you know, I had my hair bonnet on all night, and then I got a shower and I'm like, oh, set it free. So I take the hair bonnet off and I go to like whip my hair around, not realizing that Mr. Coffee had the ceiling fan on because, look, listen, whenever I go in the room and I go take a shower, we've always had ceiling fans. So whenever I went to go take a shower, usually Mr. Coffee will turn off the ceiling fan. This day he did not, and I did not pay attention. So I learned that if you whip your hair around a running ceiling fan, it will catch your hair and essentially toss you across your bed. Because it's like my bed, and then the ceiling fan is right above it. And when I went to go whip my hair got caught on the fan, and it just went yank, and I was like, ah! So I just kind of like dove onto the bed, and I'm like, why didn't you turn off the ceiling fan? And he's like, oh, I forgot. So you're just gonna have me out here catching hypothermia? Look, listen, this man has like an ice box in here. And he was like, well, the air conditioner says it's at 70 degrees. My foot is at 70 degrees. I'm in here cutting glass with the girls because it's so freaking cold in here. And he's like, it's not that cold in here. I'm pretty sure at this point I could probably see my breath. That air conditioner thermostat is lying to you. I hate to tell you, that little spot right there in the house where the thermostat is, that is 70 degrees. The rest of the house is about 40 degrees, okay? I'm cold, I'm shivering. I ain't never shivered at 70 degrees in my entire life. And of course, he's a typical guy. Don't touch the thermostat. Even if I knew how to work the thermostat, I wouldn't touch it. But right now I want to, because it's freaking cold. Like, it's freezing in here. And he's like, it's not that cold. Okay. Anyways, so after the whole hair thing, and he turns the fan off and helps me free my hair from the ceiling fan. Because I was essentially, at this point, I was just like a marionette on the ceiling fan, just trying to I'm trying to like go in a circle with it so it doesn't tangle up anymore. And then I have to go backwards to untangle myself. So after that whole debacle was over, he just kind of looks at me and he goes, I'm sorry I didn't turn off the ceiling fan. No, what you're trying to do is murder me. Like, can I not be murdered today? That would be great, because then you'd have to clean out the garage by yourself. And then I was like, well, why don't you hurry up and go get the dogs out? Because the sprinklers, I'm learning the cycle of the sprinklers. So we have like the in-ground sprinklers here, like they're everywhere. And they come up at 10 o'clock in the dog park. Now, there's two sets in the dog park. One set at the back end of the dog park comes on at 10 o'clock, and in front, it comes on at 10:30. So I told him, it's like 9:45. Go ahead and go let the dogs out, let them run until the sprinklers come on, and then bring them back into the house, which is what we do usually every morning, because that's now our new routine. So I'm sitting there, and he's like, all right. So he goes and gets the dogs, and I'm like, you as slow as molasses. By the time he finally decides to get out of bed, put on his clothes, put on his boots, refill his vape rig, grab some dog, it was like 5 minutes till 10. I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah, whatever. And I'm like, just make sure they're out there for at least 10 to 15 minutes. And he goes, okay. So he goes out there. He's gone maybe 30 minutes. And I'm like, hold up, something ain't right. He ain't never out there that long with the dogs. Like, he does not like being out there with the dogs as it is. And he's been gone 30 minutes. And then I go, look, our one of our neighbors has, apparently, like, a lot of our neighbors have essentially been trying to get their dogs used to our dogs, so that when they see our dogs, because we're now over here so frequently, when they see our dogs, they don't start freaking out. So people will come up and be like, hey, are your dogs friendly? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So we've even had people, like, as of like Sunday, people come knock on the doors and be like, hey, can your dogs come out to the dog park to play with our dog? Okay, we got to join the doggy party, and I was here for it. And my dogs are friendly with other dogs. It's just that Daisy is scared of little dogs. And surprisingly, I don't know if lab is the international dog for everyone, but like everybody has like these labs, and I'm just like, okay, like if you like labs, that's your thing, do your thing, boo boo. But like every other dog was a lab, and I think there was like one mastiff, which was the leasing lady. It was her dog, and I was just like, so everybody just gonna have gigantic dogs, but they're gonna be labs, like it's like every color variety of lab that you can see. And the one lady's like, come here, Bambi. Bambi? Your dog's name is Bambi after a deer. Okay. And she's like, what are your dog's names? And I'm like, this is Daisy. And I'm always fearful of saying Killian's name, because we call Killian, or we do call him Killian Jones at times. And when we go to the vet, his name is Killian Jones, so they call him Killian Jones. And then like as soon as you say Killian, they look at you like, oh God, he must be vicious. His name has kill in it. and it's Killian with a K, rhymes with Jillian with a J, but it's Killian Jones. And they're like, well, that's a unique name. And I'm like, I didn't name it. My husband named him. Once Upon a Time, if you've ever seen the movie Once Upon a Time, or the show Once Upon a Time, in the show, Captain Hook's character is a guy with blue eyes, I guess. I don't know. I've never seen the show. I just know that's what he named the dog after. And when I finally bought him a Siberian Husky, which is something he's wanted for the longest time, when I got him a Siberian Husky, he didn't even stutter when I asked him what he wanted to name him. He said Killian Jones. So we have a Killian Jones. So that's how Killian got his name. And then they're like, oh, well, what's your other dog's name? Now, take it. Daisy is a 110-pound German Shepherd. Yeah, she lost 10 pounds, yo. Oh, my baby lost 10 pounds. I'm proud. And they're like, what's her name? And they're expecting something like Killian Jones. And then I go, that's Daisy. And they're like, what? It's Daisy. Kind of takes the bark out the bite, right? Like, it's Daisy. My kids like the show Adventures of Gumball, and she had a little stuffed animal in the show named Daisy. And when Maggie first met Daisy, she yelled out Daisy, and Daisy answered, and she hasn't answered to anything else since. So that's the story of the dogs getting their names. So yeah, so we got to hang out with a few families up here with their dogs, which was nice. And so, okay, we're going back to the garage because I'm going all over the place. I'm trying to stay on topic, but my mind is jumping. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, all right, hold on. All right, sorry. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, we get my hair out the ceiling fan, and we go over to the old house. And one of my neighbors is looking, and she goes, where have you guys been? You must have been on vacation. I'm like, vacation? Chick, we moved. And she's like, for real? You didn't see me carrying that heavy ass couch out of the house. Like, you thought I was just robbing the place? Like, she's like, well, I saw you carrying out the couch. I thought maybe you guys were getting a new couch. So I'm going to throw a couch away at 2 in the morning because I'm getting a new couch. Right. No, honey, we moved. We moved. And she's like, oh, well, where'd you move to? And I'm like, over there. And I'm pointing across the street, and she's like, oh, well, did those apartments open up? And we were explaining to her about the apartments opening up over here because, again, this used to be staff housing for the oil field guys, for the company Halliburton. And then Halliburton wanted to get rid of the property, so they sold it to another company. And so now it's open to the public. So now anybody can live here. And they don't just have townhouses. They also have an apartment building across the street, which of course is going to run you a little bit cheaper. But these are literally the cheapest apartments and townhouses in town. We really lucked out at getting this at what we got it at. So I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm never moving. And for the amount of stuff that I have, never moving, ever, ever. A lot of y'all were in the comments like, oh, I've lived in my house 25 years. And I'm thinking, I've never sat in one place for longer than 5 years because I'm a military brat. All 3 of my parents went in the military. And no, I'm not saying okay, my biological mom and my dad were both in the military, which, yeah. And then when my parents split up, my dad then married another woman in the military. So all 3 of my parents were in the military. So we moved constantly. And then as an adult, I moved in with Minna's dad. Then we moved to Lewistown. I stayed in Lewistown I stayed in Lewistown. I didn't stay in the same house. So I stayed in one house for 3 years. And then we moved, and I stayed in that house for 5 years. And then we moved here. And then we stayed over there for 3 years. So I'm hoping this is a more permanent residence because, look, listen, I think after this last move, we will be hiring movers next time because, y'all, for as much as I like to tell y'all that Mr. Coffee's not a spring chicken and he thinks he is, I am also not a spring chicken. My body hurts, okay? I now get the saying, back and body hurts, okay? Which, by the way, I'm going to be opening up the Etsy shop again. I have to find the ink for the printer and refill my ink, and then I'm going to start to make more cups. Now I can get back into making my pride cups and making cups for Juneteenth, which if you don't know what Juneteenth is, look it up. It's also my dad's birthday. So Saturday is Pawpaw's birthday, and I ordered him something special, y'all. I ordered him something special. I'm excited for him to get it. I wish I could record it so you guys can see it, but obviously I can't because he lives in Alabama and I live here. So yeah, and so we get over to the garage and we're talking to the neighbor lady that, you know, used to be our neighbor, and we're explaining to her about the new house, and we love the new house, okay? Mr. Coffee loves having his own area that's not cluttered with craft stuff. I love having my area that's not cluttered with gamer stuff and his stuff. And the only problem is I don't see him a lot during the day. Mr. Coffee has been catching up on homework that he missed from when we were moving. And his homework isn't just like a worksheet, you fill it out and turn it in. It's like in-depth. He's learning how to make an app. So he's learning the inner guts of an app. And it's a lot of work, apparently. And it's a lot of numbers and weird things. I see it and my brain just explode. Like I feel it like fart out the side of my ear, and smoke and steam and broccoli come out. And so he's been in a never-ending whirl of homework. I have been back here because I love it. This is my own little space, and as you can tell, I have my little plaque that was made for me on a What You Got Wednesday by a gentleman. I'm sorry, I can't remember your name. I was very happy to be able to put up the plaque with my name on, because I was like, when we moved, it was like one of the second things I put on the wall after or third things after Pride and K Rico Siren. I put up that sign. I will give you a tour of the craft room, so let me tell you the stories first, and you gotta sit tight. We're also gonna pull a giveaway winner, but you won't know in this video. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna pull a giveaway winner from last week for Dragon Attack. I'm gonna pull a giveaway winner, and I'm gonna wait. You have until the 21st to get a hold of me via email, Instagram, or actually no, Instagram or Facebook. Instagram, Facebook, or email, sorry. You have until the 21st to get a hold of me, or I will be drawing another winner. The winner of the tumbler last time never got a hold of me, and I completely forgot, and I just realized it. Like, they never got a hold of me. So, if you entered into the contest, what's going to happen is you will see, unless I know you, where I can message you myself, you will get a comment on your comment from that video, and on your comment it'll just say winner chicken dinner, please contact me. You have until the 21st to get a hold of me. If you do not, I will be drawing another winner on the 21st. Now, I never reveal exactly who the winner is, because that's where the scams come in, and people like to be a bunch of buttholes and claim people's prizes or try to get you for monies. Not in these crafty streets, boo-boo. I ain't boo-boo the fool. Try again. Try Jesus. Not me. I throw hands. Anyways, so we're over at the other place, and Mr. Coffee opens the garage, and he goes, oh, this isn't going to take us any time at all. Again, y'all, the lies we tell ourselves. Look, listen, we had so much stuff. Like, I think Mr. Coffee brought over 2 boxes, okay? He had, like, half the garage was his. Like, we split it in half, so this side was mine, and then this side was his. And yeah, it took us all day. The kids were like, you know what? We swept out the garage, and when me and Mr. Coffee have arguments, we don't fight like normal adults. Like, this is why I keep forgetting that I am an adult. We don't have normal arguments where normal people argue over finances, and sometimes we do. But normal people argue over finances and stuff like that. We're in the garage, okay? And the kids wanted to skate. And I was like, oh, sweet. Okay, yeah, you guys bring your skates. You guys can skate while we're cleaning out the garage. Not a big deal. So we bring the broom over, because they had, cat litter in the garage, because it's cat litter and, little pebbles and stuff all over the ground in the garage, because for people with their cars, obviously you're going to get oil spills, and that's how they clean up the oil in there, and they put cat litter in there. Problem was, we never cleaned it up. So, they're just leave it in there. It'll help if your car ever leaks oil or anything like that. And I'm like, I don't know why my car would be leaking oil to the point where I need cat litter to clean it up. But, okay. So And I also just realized while watching these videos back, I have like a lazy eye or something, y'all. I gotta get this fixed. But I'm sitting there and I'm just like, okay, all right, let's sweep up the garage, okay? And he's like, okay. Now this is how dumb me and Mr. Coffee are, okay? We're not dumb, but we're dumb, okay? We're arguing over who gets the satisfaction of sweeping out the pebbles and stuff out of the garage. Like, we're legit arguing. Like, our kids are looking at us like we're embarrassing. Like Mom and Dad, stop. Like we got our hands on the broom and we're just like, no, I mean, I'm trying to tell him, like, you don't know how to clean. You ain't got no good home training. Let me go ahead and clean. And he's like, no, you have to clean the entire apartment. Let me do you this favor and sweep out the garage. I can sweep out the garage, and I do have good home training. I'm like, I know, but I'm just trying to say, like, you weren't taught the technique of sweeping. You can't just pat, 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 and it's done. This isn't a cartoon. Like, you gotta, like, there's a whole motion you gotta go with it. There's a rhythm you ain't got no rhythm. Like, there's a whole rhythm you gotta go with it. And he's like, what are you, churning butter? I'm like, even if we were churning butter, I can still do that better than you because I've been taught how to churn butter. I'm Southern, and ain't nothing better than being Southern and sweeping your carpet because you too broke to fix the vacuum, and you gotta sweep that carpet by hand, or you just gotta sweep off your porch from all the dirt and debris that's blowing on it. I'm like, I am born and raised to sweep. You should let me sweep. And he's like, I'm not letting you sweep. You always get to do all the fun stuff. Cleaning is not fun, honey. This is hard, back-breaking work. And with your back being bad, I need to be the one that's sweeping. And he's just like, no, you're not. And finally, Maggie's like, we're just going to go skate out there. All right, honey. But you need to let me sweep this up. Like, you're not going to do it right. You're going to miss a bunch of pebbles. They're going to fall and hurt themselves. Let me sweep. Because you don't know the motion. Like, you be all over the place. You need to let me sweep. And he's just like, whatever, fine. How about you sweep your side and I sweep my side? And I'm like, all right, bet. We're going to see who sweeps better. Y'all, look, listen. Why do we waste an hour sweeping each other, like sweeping each side, and then looking at the ground like, oh, see, you missed the dirt right here, so you didn't even sweep better than I did. My dirt is missing. There ain't no dirt on my side. Looking back at this time in my life, I realized, maybe that might have been a stupid argument. And it wasn't like we were like mad at each other like for a long time, but we did cop attitude with each other because I feel like I'm the better sweeper. I literally do this all the time. Like, I do this every day. Like, I have to sweep up dog hair. So do you know how you have to finesse a broom to sweep up dog hair? And I'm like, you don't have to sweep up dog hair, so you don't know, like, the proper motion to get your, like, you don't have the wrist capacity. And he's like, well, you got carpal tunnel. Yeah, that carpal tunnel doesn't come from crafting, boo-boo. It comes from the motion that you have to use to sweep. There's a whole thing you got to do to sweep. You can't just be out here all willy-nilly with a broom just knocking stuff over and stuff. No. Dude, there's a motion. There's a motion. And he's like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, cleaning is in my blood. Like, it's in there, okay? You don't have cleaning in your blood. You have a lot of gaming in you. You have a lot of, like, computer nerdy stuff. I'm gonna beat you up after I log into this website in you. I don't. I have, like, barefoot, bearing children, child on hips, sweeping the car. I have a lot of that in me. Old school values in me. I can sweep. He's like, you just went into a whole, like, debate on who sweeps better. I feel like I sweep better. And if I feel like I do something better, I'm going to defend myself. And he's like, or you just like hearing yourself talk. Actually, I don't. And he's just like, after like an hour and a half, he's like, we should at some point actually get to working on the stuff in the garage. So I'm like, all right, bet. Yo, he was worse than the kids. He was worse than the freaking kids. Y'all remember when we were actually moving and I told y'all that every time we go to pack up a box, Maggie would look at it and be like, oh, I haven't seen this before. Y'all, take it. We're in the garage, so we're looking at stuff that's really old. And when I say like really old, I'm talking about like Eminem's first CD. I'm talking about the VHS tape for Carrie. Yeah. I'm talking about the VHS tape for Purple Rain, okay? Like, I literally found my VHS tape for Purple Rain. And I was like, the entire time, purple rain, purple rain. And Mr. Coffee's like, what are you singing? I will divorce you right now if you ever tell me you've never seen this movie. And he goes, I'm like, you've never seen Purple Rain? You should be ashamed of yourself. Now, there are a few classics when you're married to a black woman that you have to watch. Purple Rain is one of them. And I had not realized I had been like slipping on my job and not having him watch these movies. Now, is that to say that only black people can watch like this? No, everybody loves Prince. So I'm like, dude, what the hell's wrong with you? You ain't never seen Purple Rain? Don't tell me your mom wasn't a Prince fan. She might not have been. I don't know. Like Miss Sharon, Miss Sharon like the finer things in life. So I figured because Prince was one of the finer things in life at that time, that she might have liked him. So I didn't know he'd never seen Purple Rain. He's like, no, I've never seen it. Yeah, we're gonna have to change that while you're on days off. I'm gonna go find my VHS player, and that's why I said somebody find me a VHS player quick. I have one. I have one in the archives. I just needed to go dig it out, which you wouldn't think I needed to dig it out since I just moved, but I needed to go dig it out. We didn't watch it last night though, unfortunately. So yeah, so we're cleaning out, and I'm finding all my old CDs. And did you know that CDs disintegrate? Now, a lot of my old CDs were in a book. It's one of those old school, like, which how many of y'all remember Columbia House? That I don't know if it was a subscription service or what, but you got like 14 CDs for a penny, and then they charge you $30 every month for CDs. Yeah, I used to be part of that. We're not going to talk about it. I think everybody owed Columbia House. If you're in the U.S. If you're not in the U.S., you probably never had anything like that. But I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, let me go test out this CD. So I go sit in the car, and I went to go test what CDs were actually still able to be used and what's weren't. Now that my CD player is working in my car, I can actually go check to see which CDs I can play. So I'm checking the CDs, and one of them I noticed had like a weird spot on it. I don't even, it looked like, I can't even say it looked like mold. It just was a brown spot. And I'm like, what the hell's on that? Now, these were kept in a warm, dry place in the dark because they were in my garage. And I'm like, what the hell is that? Well, I pulled out another CD, and part of the CD is missing. Like somebody took a bite out of it and then just put it back because they didn't like the taste. So I'm like, what the is that? Why is that doing that? Yo, and no, I have not touched my crochet blanket. Don't judge me. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, why are these CDs all messed up like this? I don't know what happened to them. Something was in my garage, I guess. I don't know, but it looked like something had been eating my CDs. Now, when we went through the garage, there's no like woodland creatures or anything in there. They can't fit. The garage closes, so you can't like just get in there. So I'm like, what the hell? Anyways, I lost a lot of CDs yesterday. I was sad about, and Mr. Coffee's like, why are you sad about it? Everything's digital now. I'm like, you know what's funny? You know what's funny to think? I have turned into my parents, okay? I have turned into that parent that's like, back in my day. And I'm like, I'm 36. Back in my day when? Yesterday? Oh my God. But then I realized, I remember thinking how old my parents must be to have been around when there was black and white TV. And then when Maggie goes, Mommy, did they have cell phones when you were little? No. And she goes, what kind of apps did you like to play when you were little? Apps? Honey, we didn't have apps. And she goes, well, what did you play? We played outside. That's what we played. We played outside. She's like, oh. But, so you didn't play with anything on your phone? Phone? I'm like, nah, see, look, honey. Y'all is spoiled, okay? Because at 8 and 10 years old, you already have cell phone. Hold on a second. Alright, I had to go see what she was barking at. We're going to tell you exactly why. Well, I think I already told you guys that. No, I didn't. We'll get there. We'll get there. I'm sorry, my brain. So, I'm explaining to Maggie that when I was little, we didn't have apps, and I didn't get my first cell phone until my parents would not buy me a cell phone. Like I didn't have parents like that. My parents were like, you want it, work for it. God. Now that's where my workaholicness comes from. If you couldn't tell, I am a workaholic. I am aware of this. I am not trying to get help. I like the fact that I was brought up to work for everything that I want, and if you can't get what you want from working, if you're working and you still can't get what you want, work hard. Essentially, that was the motto in my house. So if you wanted something like a cell phone or a car, you had to buy it yourself. My parents weren't giving out handouts. They're like, this ain't no charity house. Buy it. You buy it yourself with your hard-earned money. And I'm glad they did it that way, because I learned to appreciate things a lot more. That's why I get so excited when I actually do get things, because I didn't have to work for it. I mean, I did, but then I didn't. So it was just like, yay. So I'm just sitting there and I'm like, okay, all right, cool. All right, good. All right. So Maggie just has this look on her face and she's just like, were the I'm like, don't you even finish that sentence. I will choke the life out of you. No, dinosaurs were not alive when I was little. And she was like, well, when did you get your first cell phone? Well, Ryan asked me when did I get my first cell phone. I was like, I'll never forget it. Which, question of the video, when did you get your first cell phone? I'll never forget it. I think I was like 16 or 17. I didn't even have my driver's license yet because, look, listen, that test, whole thing, okay? I didn't have my driver's license or anything yet. I worked at Long John Silver's, which is where I met Minna's dad. He was my boss. And, one, I don't suggest having kids with your boss. I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, Minna's dad's cool, but, like, don't do that. That's not how you're supposed to have a job. Like, you're not supposed to go to work and then, like, fall in love with your boss and then have children and then be like, I don't like you anymore. That wasn't, looking back on that, that's not exactly how that should have went. But if it didn't go that way, I wouldn't have a Minna. So, anyway, that was a whole tangent. So I was like, I'll never forget it. I worked at Long John Silver's. I was like 16, 17. I was living with my parents. And I went over to Metro PCS and got myself a phone. It wasn't a flip phone. It was like a tall green phone, and you could change the faceplates on it. And that was the coolest thing back then, was the fact that you could change the faceplates on your phone. So you could change the faceplates on your phone, which that was like 20 years ago. I've only had a cell phone for 20 years. Oh, jeez. So I'm sitting there and I'm like remembering this phone, and I'm like, she's up here playing like all these games, and I'm like, we barely had internet. And Orion's like, hold up, you didn't have internet? And as soon as he said that, y'all remember the dial-up noise? I could hear the dial-up noise in my head, and I'm like, oh God. I'm like, we did. I don't remember exactly when the internet became such a huge thing. Y'all remember getting the AOL disc in the mail? I remember getting that AOL disc, my parents installing it, and then of course, get off the phone. I gotta make a phone call if you were online. Nowadays, you just, you're on 3 different phones at the same time while you're on your laptop or whatever, and I'm just like, wow, technology sure has changed since I was a kid. And I'm thinking, oh, dude, what is technology gonna look like when my kids are adults? Because if it's changed that drastically since I was little, look, listen, yo, I'm wondering what I'm gonna be one of those people now that's like, how do you use this thing? Like, I don't know how to use this. I'm gonna be one of those people, y'all. I try to keep up with the times with technology, but it's a lot of work. Like laptops, and we didn't have no laptop, and then you got computers and tablets. We didn't have tablets, and so like I'm explaining this to the kids, and Mr. Coffee's like, meanwhile, I'm over here with a box of phones. Now, Mr. Coffee used to fix cell phones. He would fix the broken iPhone screens. And so he found his box of broken cell phones, which is literally a box of broken cell phones, like that didn't work, that he would use the screens off of to repair other phones. Before Amazon was a huge thing, he would have to just find other iPhones. And so he found his box of phones. He's like, oh, I got a box of phones. I'm like, here we go. And then he starts finding a lot of his old artwork, and Orion's like, wow, Dad, you can draw? Now, Mr. Coffee can draw, okay? He claims that he can't. He can't. The problem is, he says he can't draw from his head like I can. I can, like, I have a very vivid imagination, so I can think of something and put it on paper. Mr. Coffee doesn't have the same imagination that I do, so he has to look at a reference, which there's apparently nothing wrong with looking at a reference. Like, you can look at a reference, but he can mimic anything he sees, whereas I can just from my head put something on paper. Not that it's any good, like, I'm still learning how to draw, but it is a lot better than it was like last year. So I'm like, you know, I wish I had more time to practice my drawing, but right now with like everything going on, I've been practicing at night actually, just because it gives me something to do to wind my mind down. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know, well, we got to get this stuff cleared out. And then I find my tub with my old photographs in it. Now, I used to do photography over at Picture Me Studios, when they used to be a thing inside of Walmart. Y'all remember when taking your child to Sears and J.C. Penney's and Walmart were a thing to get your pictures taken? Yeah, I used to be one of those types of photographers. And then I did nature photography for a while, or I did freelance nature photography, and I would sell it to different magazines and publications. And I have published in quite a few books with my photography. So I used to do a lot of photography, and I also used to do modeling. And so I found my tub of pictures, and I was just like, oh snap, taking it back. Yo, I was so teeny tiny. I was so small, and I'm like, I look, and it's weird because I remember Mr. Coffee telling me that, you know, he's to be like, you know, I used to think you were too skinny. And I was just like, you were too skinny. Now we've both kind of gotten to our adult bodies, and we're just like, ugh, this is where we're at. I'm not changing it. So I'm showing him the pictures because he's not, I don't think I've ever actually sat down and explained and showed him my modeling stuff. And he's just like, wow, like, there's a book? I'm like, yeah, we had, like, I did my certification for modeling at Barbizon. And I got my little Barbizon certificate. And I got my graduation tape and everything, and it was all in this box, and I was showing him, and he's like, oh, well, that's really cool, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, isn't it great? And then he goes back over to his side, and we're just going through stuff, and we finally get everything done. I know those people over there must hate us, because we went to that dumpster probably 3 times with 2 truckloads of trash. Just trash, just stuff we didn't need anymore, stuff we didn't want anymore. And because this used to be staff housing, there's not a lot of room for storage. So we couldn't keep everything that we had at the old place. So a lot of it ended up going in the trash, because obviously, especially when it came out of the garage, if it came out of the garage, we haven't seen it in 3 years. What makes us think that we're going to magically need it now? And Mr. Coffee had a lot of clothes and old oil field stuff in there. Stuff that he can't fit now, because when he joined the oil field, he was maybe $110 soaking wet, okay? Now, Mr. Coffee is over 200 pounds. Like, he's beefy. So I'm like, you ain't fitting in none of that stuff. You just gonna rip out of all those clothes. You might as well throw them all away. And I say throw them all away instead of donate, it's because they're oil filled clothes. So they're covered in oil. Keep hearing the dogs like moving around up there, and I'm like, somebody wake up. It's early in the morning here today. It's almost 11 o'clock actually, so people should start waking up here soon. So I have 20 minutes left. But yeah, so we finally finished cleaning out the garage, and we get all the trash from the garage thrown out, and I went, you know what? Let's get all the trash and stuff out of the house, because one of the things we did was we put together a pile of stuff that needed to be donated, and then we set the trash on the opposite side by the door when you first walk in. And I'm like, we need to get those trash bags out of the house so that I can go in and start cleaning up the house. And he goes, all right, cool. So I go over to the house, like I walk over because I was in his truck, so I just walked over to the house. I go open the door, and I'm like, it's not a whole lot of trash in here. So we're going to go ahead and get the trash out of the house. The kids at this point are dying because it's been hours. They were skating and got too hot, so they went to go sit in the car. It was like 90 degrees yesterday. I don't know why we keep wanting to do this when it's hot as hell outside. They're dying in the car, and they're like, can we go home for lunch? How much longer are we gonna be here? I'm like, we are gonna be here until the job is done, because y'all don't gotta do nothing. I have to take care of cleaning this. All right, sorry about that. Little teeny tiny Tootsie woke up. So yeah, so they're like dying. They're ready to go home and get lunch because my kids are on a schedule. So they know around 2, 3 o'clock they're supposed to eat lunch. It's now pushing 4, 5 o'clock and they haven't had lunch yet. So they're like dying. It's hot. They're hungry. And I'm like, y'all can hold on a little bit longer. You won't die. They were fine. And there was water and stuff in the car that they could have drank if they were that bad, but they didn't want that. They wanted to go home and get a juice and a sandwich. And I'm like, y'all gonna have to wait until we go home because we need to get this done. So, especially seeing as how Mr. Coffee works until 6 in the afternoon, like he gets up and goes into work at 8 in the morning, and then he gets home at 6 in the evening. And after working all day, the last thing he wants to do is go work on another house. So he's just like, yeah, let's just get this done now. So we cleared out the house of all the trash and stuff. All that's left in there is stuff that needs to go over to the Salvation Army or Goodwill to be donated. So I was like, all right, bet. Now we pushed all the stuff that needs to be donated to the front of the house. And now all I have to do is go in and clean up the house, which we are probably going to do tomorrow, which is Wednesday. Because of we need a break. Our bodies hurt. Mentally, I'm just shot. It's been a lot. This is I would say this is the biggest move, but our move from Pennsylvania to here wasn't even like this drastic. And it's a long drawn out process because technically my lease for the old apartment isn't up until the 13th of next month. They wouldn't let me break the lease for the 13 days so that they could rent it out to someone. So they're making us pay for the 13 days of July. And then I realized why. Over half the complex is empty because everybody's moving out because they keep jacking up the price of the rent over there. So I'm just like, I'm glad we got out when we did, because paying almost $1,700 a month for a tiny 3-bedroom apartment was not where it's at. So, so they're making us pay that until the 13th, which is fine. I'll pay the rest of my lease, and I have one more payment to go, which is the last payment, which they charge you for cleaning fees and everything else, which is why I said I'm not going in the depth in the cleaning. Like, I will wipe everything down with bleach. I will mop and sweep and mop the floors. But that's it. Like, I'm not scrubbing walls or anything. Y'all want that done. Y'all are already making me pay for it, so I'm not going to do it. That's like I said, that's like cleaning before your maid gets there. Like, no, that's not happening. So we're officially almost done with the house. We just have to go clean. And I was just excited because I got to put my nails back on, which I got these nails from Etsy. So before somebody asks me, where'd you get your nails? Etsy. There are women on Etsy. This one is Pressed by Shay, or is it Pressed by Shay, I think? I think it's Pressed by Shay. Hold on, let me see. I don't know where the box is for them. I think it's called Pressed by Shay. I'll put the lady's name down in the description box. But you can order fake nails off Etsy. Like, I'm over here looking like a giant Skittle. Taste the rainbow. Alright, sorry about that. I'm a little extra. Minna was on a camping trip with her friends, and she's like, Mom, why are you so extra? I don't know. I'm always extra. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, extra? You ain't seen extra. Like, if I just walked up to you and I was like, yes, yeah, honey, then that's extra, okay? Me just being me is not extra. And I'm like, if you don't like it, you might as well get ready for it, honey, because this is hereditary. So a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned a clicker fan. And a lot of people were asking me what a clicker fan was. This is a clicker fan. It is a fan. It says Become. I got it from a young lady on TikTok. She's one of my favorite. Amani Ivan, I think is her handle on TikTok. I'll link her if I can find her. Because she does have, I'll link her Instagram and you can go over to her TikTok from there. But she sells these fans. Now, they don't just come in rainbow. They do come in black and pink. which I let the kids play with that one. But this one, we're not going to touch this one. This one's for mommy. But yeah, I was talking to Minna and her friends the other day, and Minna's like, Mom, you're so extra. And I'm like, honey, you ain't seen extra, okay? You, extra? Where? And she's like, Mom, where'd you get the fan? Look, listen, I'm dangerous now. Don't bother me. This is a weapon, and it's a cooling device, okay? Don't mess with me. She's like, Mom. I'm like, what? Am I embarrassing you in front of your friends because your mom's extra? Her friends are all just like laughing, and she's just sitting there like, oh my God, Mom, you're so embarrassing. Just imagine what I would be like if you actually lived here. Like, yes! So, I did talk to Minna. I showed her the craft room because I haven't really shown it to a whole lot of people. Like, Patreons have seen it. Patreons usually see things first anyways. Small plug, I do have a Patreon. You feel free to join. I would join mid-month, not the end of the month, because if you join at the end of the month, they'll double charge you. So like, I did that with the Hannah Lynn. It actually feels good. I did that with Hannah Lynn. I ended up joining her Patreon on the 31st of a month, like I want to say like January or something. And then it charged me for the 31st and the 1st. And she goes, oh, honey. She goes, let's make sure you get your coloring pages from last month because I don't want you to have paid and then got double charged and not get the coloring pages. So she made sure I got my stuff anyways. But you can join at any time. You can leave at any time. Patreon is just another way to help support me, see behind the scene things. Like they get to see into the house, talk with the family. I show them things usually first, like whenever I complete something or doing something, I give them updates on like they've been getting updates on the move and everything. There's 4 different tiers. The first tier is like a tip jar, and it's like, thank you for being you. The second one is I would like my name at the end of your videos in the or in the slides at the end of the videos. The third one is they get a vlog and where I walk around the house now, or I walk and take the dogs to the dog park and I just sit and chit chat about everyday life. And then the last one gets a live with me, which I go live once a month on the last Wednesday of the month to make sure that everybody that's joined Patreon gets to join. But I go live at the end of the month, which I'm actually thinking about getting rid of that tier and just doing the vlogs. I really like doing the vlogs. So like I might just do the vlogs and get rid of the live. I don't know. I have to figure that out. But the $20 tier gets you a vlog. And like I said, you can join, whatever at any time. We have a lot of fun in there. And like this week, I didn't know what videos I had going up. So I let them choose. I'm like, you tell me what you would like to see. And so everybody got to pick, I did like a this or that. Do you want to see Mindful Monday with me drawing and coloring or adult color? Do you want to stay whip and chat with my face or paint by numbers? Which my paint by numbers, I found it, is right there. I found it, so I'm going to work on it later. So yeah, so that's the whole Patreon thing. But I want to open up the Etsy shop again with my Pride Month stuff because I haven't been able to do anything because of the move. But now that I have everything situated and in its spot, my sublimation stuff is out. I just need to fill up my ink, which I need to figure out where I put the ink for my printer so that I can fill it up and start printing out my pages and stuff again. And it's nice because I don't have to, like, whenever I go to do orders, I don't have to, like, this is my regular printer right here. I don't have to, like, pull it out because my apartment was so small. I would have to, like, go under the shelf and pull out my printer, put it on the counter, print out all the stuff, and then put the thing back so that it wasn't in everybody's way. Here, I have space to have my printers out, so I can have my printers out, and it's wonderful. So, yeah, so we got the house completely cleared out, so I'll be going over tomorrow with the kids and Mr. Coffee to clean it up so that it's done and over with. I want to get that part of it done so that literally all we have to do is hand in the keys on the 13th of next month. Like I said, we have a little less than a month to do it, which it's a 3-bedroom apartment. Like, it would take me 2 hours to deep clean said apartment, and the apartment's not really that dirty. The most I have to worry about is the dog fur, because there was a lot of dog fur, and we picked up a lot of it. Like, I had already started sweeping and picked up a lot of it. But like the carpets need vacuumed, and there's a couple of spots on the wall that need to be taken care of, and the stickers on the kids' doors need to be taken off, which if y'all have a trick for getting stickers off, let us know. I know lemon oil or essential lemon oil works really good. But I don't want the whole house smelling like the Pine Sol lady, so I'm just like, what the hell am I supposed to do to get these stickers off? I also have to get the vinyl off the windows. Mr. Coffee has to fix the screen. It's a whole lot of stuff that we still have to do yet, and there we're gonna do that tomorrow. But today we're gonna take a break. So yeah. But we get back to the house after cleaning. We're all tired. The truck is loaded up full of stuff. My truck is loaded up full of stuff, and Mr. Coffee is backing his truck up into the garage, which he can't. He can back it up. He's backing up to the garage so that he can just unload and put it into the garage. And as he's unloading, our dogs magically appear, just Daisy and Killian, just outside. And I'm like, where the hell these dogs come from? Yo, I thought Mr. Coffee thought I was full of crap when I told him that his dog can open doors, okay? He learned real quick, fast, and in a hurry. I was not joking. So, when we got home, we have a door handle it's a long door handle with the little hook on the side. So it kind of looks like this. And you just, you push it down to open the door. The problem is, the door is not weighted. At our old place, the door was weighted. So Killian could mess with the handle, but he couldn't open it. This door, when you press down the handle, it pretty much just opens itself. So what has Killian been doing? Killian, every time there's a knock at the door from a delivery guy, or Mr. Coffee comes home, he goes over, puts his paw on the door, pushes it down, and then the door essentially just pops open for him. So when we got home yesterday, he just opened the door. He's like, welcome humans, welcome back home. And I'm just sitting there like, I told you, look at it, I told you. And he's like, how the hell did they get out here? I told you that your dog, because he heard me last week when I mentioned that his dog had opened the door and he thought I was full of monkey piss. And I was like, no, your dog is opening doors. I'm like, when I tell you these stories, I'm not trying to be funny. The dog think he's a whole human. This dog up here opening these doors like he paid bills in here, okay? Like, I'm telling you, this dog is opening doors. And then he finds out that he's trying to teach himself how to open the back door here. The back door here is a sliding glass door, but not like the one at my old place. It is and isn't. This one is a little bit more secure than the one we had at the old place. But all he has to do is take his nose and pull up that lock. And then his thing is, it's too heavy for him to open, so he can't open it. But he can open up the front door. So if he ever wants to go outside, he just opens up the front door, which is why we needed to go make sure that they were okay. Because now, anytime somebody knocks at the door and he starts barking, he tries to open the door. He did it last night while we were sitting here. Nobody came to the door, but for some reason, he just decided he felt like going outside. So he just jumped up, grabbed the handle, opened the door, and just sat on the porch. And I'm like, until you start paying bills here, sir, I'm going to have to ask you to stop opening doors in my house. Like, you worship the freaking kids. So I had to go on Amazon yesterday and buy baby proofing for the door. I got a baby proof for my dog who won't stop opening doors. Like, people always think I'm crazy when I tell you all these stories. I'm not crazy. Not 100%. Like, maybe like 60-40. But I'm not 100% crazy. The dog is legit opening doors. The problem is, I can't get him to do it on command. Like, I can't be like, open the door. It doesn't work like that. He does it because he wants to. Just like yesterday, he tried opening the door because we have a new friend. We don't have a name for him yet. It's a baby bunny that visits the house here every day. Usually he's out 2 or 3 times a day by the back porch. And he just sits and nibbles grass and drives the dogs nuts. Well, yesterday, Mr. Coffee was like throwing food at it while it's sitting out in the grass. And I'm like, the dang rabbit is not going to eat the stuff you throw out. It's not a domesticated rabbit. It's a wild rabbit. So it's going to eat grass and shrubbery. And he's like, no, it'll eat a piece of celery. So he sat there on the floor with Maggie. And they're staring at this poor bunny that's just trying to eat. And he's like, oh, get the celery, little bunny. And I'm like, oh, great. We have another little sidewalk friend that's a woodland creature. So we had to come up with a new name for the baby bunny that has now decided to grace us with this present. And Mr. Coffee's like, what are we gonna do about Killian? Like, we can't ever leave the house. I know. Because now, if we try to leave the house and somebody says, knock at the door, like, I don't know, the maintenance guy or a delivery guy or somebody, or even if kids are playing with our door, the moment they knock, he's opening the door. In Miss Coffee's house, you don't have to come into the house to get attacked. The dogs come to you. Like, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, people are already afraid of this dog. So, to know that the dog can now open doors, and luckily the maintenance people and everybody know the dogs. They've seen the dogs, they've touched the dogs, they're okay with the dogs. But all I need is for them to have to call me and be like, hey, Miss Tepper, your dogs got out and they're running around the dog park. It's a hot mess. It's a hot mess. But we're all done cleaning out the old place. We're all done with everything that we needed to do over at the old place, minus clean it, which, like I said, we're going to do tomorrow. But today I'm going to relax. I'm going to do absolutely nothing. I'm not going to craft on anything. I will be kitting up my next kit, and there will be a special announcement made about that kit on Tuesday, which is the day you're going to see this. So look on my Instagram, and you'll find out what my next kit is going to be. And I know somebody's still going to ask in the comment section because people like to skip around videos, and I'm not going to tell you. So yeah, if you'd like to know what the next kit is going to be and what the special surprise is with this kit, you'll have to check it out on Instagram, because by the time you see this, unless you're Patreons, because they see it first, unless you see this, yeah, there's a special surprise coming with the next kit. So with that said, I guess you guys want to see the craft room now, right? Right now, I will show you guys the craft room and explain my madness and show you exactly how I decided to design it. So are you ready for the craft room? You guys have been very patient. I appreciate it. So let's take a look at the craft room. Craft room. I'm just joking. Okay, so I'm going to turn you around. I'm going to show you what the craft room looks like and explain my madness. You ready? All right, so one of my pictures fell. Don't worry, it's right there under glow. But there's glow. This is my Geneva Bowers wall. This was a dream catcher that I got from a subscriber. This is Mr. and Mrs. Claus that I got from a subscriber. My view out the window. This is my Nook, which has a recording device. It has some doggy spray. I just got some Scentsy in. And there's my jar of dirt. I keep that close. Maggie has decided to organize my pens for me on the Nook. This is just the side of the Nook. And of course she has her shoes and stuff in here. But this is the Nook. This is what I went to the furniture store and purchased. I got my little TV with cable. They put it there to test out the cable. And then I just left it there. So, yeah. So we have some more Geneva Bowers. These are Minna's pom-poms from when she did cheerleading last year. More Geneva Bowers. This shelf contains all of my HTV vinyl that I use for my cricket, which there's one of the crickets there. That's also a little prairie dog. We got that from the park, the national park that we go to. The one we went on the vlog for. So we got some more Geneva Bowers up here, which is coming out pretty dark, so let me back up a little bit. There we go. More Geneva Bowers. And before anybody asks, matter of fact, let me get it out the desk. If I can possibly. So, what I did to stick my stuff to the wall, I did use thumbtacks, but they're only there temporarily. I used these. You can go to Walmart or wherever to get these. They're stickers, but they're Velcro. And so until the Velcro adheres well to the wall, you'll see the push pins and the stuff on the wall. But the push pins will be coming out in a couple of days so that I know that it's not going to fall off the wall. So this is the wall behind me in my gamer chair, which my gamer chair is right here. This is my desk, which these are all Zox bracelets. This is just Maggie's random stuff. Little side table for my drafting table. That's where Maggie usually sits. But here's the wall. So these pictures are all pictures that I wanted to have hanging up behind me. And essentially the wall is covered in diamond painting. Moo-hoo! There's my bags from Cal and my paint by numbers, but there are the diamond paintings. These are all my coloring books and my Centro and light pads. I got some boxes from Diamond Art Club. We're gonna kind of blur that out with my hand. These are all my coloring supplies. This is random diamond painting stuff. And I actually have, there's my bead board from DIY Moon Shop. I actually also have the print of that bead board. My Ever Moment, Star Ore, and Laoji 1 is behind there. And I can interchange these, so I'm not worried about them being all over the walls now. But I got my Betty Boop, I got my Rosaline, and my Mystical Diamond Art. Here's all my sublimation stuff. And when I was cleaning out my garage yesterday, I found my Stratocaster Hello Kitty guitar. But yeah, that's like all the cups that still need to be sublimated and sold, which is why I want to open up the Etsy shop again. So for those folks that have been very, very patiently waiting. Oh, real quick before I show you like the whole view again. I just got this from Scentsy. It is the cutest freaking thing. It's a pear. And I told Ruby Q that I had to have it. So here is my pear. And this is where I got my nails from. Stay Pressed by Lindsay. She's on Instagram, and I'll make sure to link her. She also has an Etsy shop, so go check her out. That's the empty Scentsy box, and I will fix that. But there you have it. The view of the craft room. Zoom out. Oop. The view of the craft room. So this is my new crafting space. So thank you guys so much for listening to me jibba jabba for the last hour. I do greatly appreciate it. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day. Stay safe out here in these crafty streets, and always remember to wear your mask, wash your hands, don't touch your face, keep your 6 feet, and always try. Be kind, be courteous, be cool. Bye guys.